Just in time for another edition of News Now. Well, you have so much lined up for you in our bulletin this afternoon. Remember, you can always interact with us on our social media handles indicated at the bottom of your screen. Now, with that said, my name is Dennis Otieno. I trust you're doing well. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, on to our top story this afternoon. The nationwide power outage witnessed on Friday night forced Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen to hold a crisis meeting with the Kenya Airport Authority officials at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. JKIA was also affected by the darkness, which lasted for about 2 hours, affecting passengers at the immigration and baggage handling sections. The KAA officials have attributed the power outage to system failures and that one of the generators failed to start. Now, the Kenya Power and Lighting Company, KPLC, has on Saturday issued a statement where they confirmed that power has been restored in many parts of the country, including Kiambu, Nyeri, Meru, Murang'a, Embu, Nakuru, Siaya, and some parts of Nairobi. KPLC also says they are working to restore power for the remaining areas. Now, President William Ruto is expected to commission the Kenya Medical Training Center in Teso, Busia County later on today. In a busy itinerary for the president's tour of the region will also see him commission the 1.8 million shillings Malaba Inland Dry Port, at a 120 million shilling surgical ward at Busia County Referral Hospital, and the Mulukoba Fish Landing Site. The new Malaba Dry Port is expected to end traffic congestion in the Eldoret-Malaba Highway near the Ugandan border, besides boosting the region's economy. Teso North Member of Parliament said the region will champion for the creation of Teso County.
Kitu muhimu kwa sasa ambayo tunafanya ni maendeleo. Tulimaliza siasa hiyo hapa awali. Sasa ni maendeleo ambayo tunataka, na tunataka tushirikiane na serikali ambayo iko kuhakikisha kuwa wananchi wanafaidika kwa miradi za serikali ya kuleta maendeleo.
And on the same breath, President William Ruto's tour of the Western region has been defended by his die-hard supporters from the region following criticism by Azimio leaders who claimed the project he's launching were already launched by retired President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, speaking in Vihiga County, the leaders, led by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, urged the residents to come out in large numbers to celebrate the milestone of development and projects being launched in the region. Take a look.
President alikuwa upande wa Homa Bay, akakutana na watu kule. Mimi nashangaa wajumbe wa Nyanza hawakusema ati kwamba watu wasusie kwenda kumuona president. Na hapo ndio kituo kikuu cha opposition. Lakini wakasema kama president anakuja, waacha afanye nini? Sasa mimi nashangaa vijana kutoka hapa. Sisi ni nusu opposition. Sisi si kituo cha opposition. Sisi ni bus stop tu. Sasa vijana hapa wengine wanasema ati watu wasusie kumuona rais. Jameni. Sio ni siasa ya kuturudisha nyuma? Hatuwezi kuwa na siasa kama hiyo. Mlikuwa mnasema tumekaa kwa upinzani kwa muda mrefu, na sisi tukakaa tukafikiria tukasema ikiwa watu wetu hawataki tena kukaa kwa upinzani, ni lazima tufanye jambo ambalo litatuweka kwa serikali. Na kupitia kwa nguvu zenu tuko kwa serikali.
I implore you all to join hands, hearts, minds. Let's embrace the Mlembe Women Brigade with open arms. Let's work tirelessly to ensure that our women rise again stronger, more empowered, more determined, and than.
Now, the State Department for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, TVET, has announced that the recruitment of some 1,300 trainers is underway. Speaking in Kisumu County during the closing ceremony of a 5-day workshop of TVET heads drawn across the country, The Principal Secretary State Department for TVET, Dr. Esther Thara Moria, confirmed that the recruitment of trainers has been concluded and that they are in the process of drafting a report which will be forwarded to the Public Service Commission. And as soon as they receive the feedback, the 1,300 trainers will be posted possibly in September. TVET principals have been urged to be proactive and help in the implementation of government projects ranging from the construction of county aggregation industrial parks, affordable housing projects and road construction.
This was an occasion, a whole week program to train our trainers in the various issues of management and especially on the CBET curricula that the department is up on rolling out. We agreed as a team in the TVET institution that there is need to retrain our trainers, and therefore the Kenya School of TVET organized this week-long training program to retrain our trainers, not only in CBET, which is very important, but also in all other areas of management, and also to be informed about the new funding model, about the admissions, and many other areas that we needed to look into. And therefore, the whole week, the Kenya School of TVET has been able to take our trainers through especially the CBET curricula, which we must train, and it was therefore important for them to come here and be able to train.
Elsewhere, Mombasa residents have opposed any move to scrap off the National Government Constituency Development Fund, saying the fund has been of great benefit to Kenyans at the grassroots level. Now, speaking during a public participation forum hosted by the National Assembly Committee on NGCDF Amendment Bill in Vita, the residents said that they want the fund to be allocated more money to serve wananchi. The committee was led by its Vice Chair, Matuga Member of Parliament Kasim Tandaza, and committee member and host Mvita Member of Parliament Mohamed Sud Machele. Now, the Mvita MP said that the recommendations from the public will go a long way in their cause as legislators to protect the fund. The Supreme Court had last year ruled that the act, which was enacted in 2013 and changed in 2015, is unconstitutional.
Katika kurekebisha hii katiba ni Article 1 ambayo inazungumzia sheria ambayo ni weko ya NGCDF ambayo ni National Government Constituency Development Fund 2023. Kwa nini inakuwa 2023? Malengo ni kwamba endapo koti ya upeo itasema hii ya 2015 haifai, basi tutakuwa na kitu kingine cha kushikilia inaitwa 2023. Tunajua pia wengine wataenda kotini. Unajua uzuri wa Kenya, kila mtu akitaka kwenda kotini waende. Koti ilipobatilisha ile sheria waliweza kuangalia section 3H and K ya sheria iliyopo na kuona kwamba CDF inafanya vitu ambavyo vinahusiana na county government. Kwa hivyo sheria ambayo sasa tunataka kurekebisha ni kuhakikisha kwamba CDF itafanya vile vitu ambazo ni exclusive, havihusiani na county government.
Kwa hivyo tunaomba CDF isiondoshwe. Imetusaidia pakubwa upande wa education. Hivi sasa kila mtoto ni lazima asome. Hata watchman lazima amalize form 4. Kwa hivyo CDF imetusaidia na tunaomba, kwa maoni yangu, tusipewe kusita, tuongezewe 10,000, ama sivyo kina mama? 6,000 haitoshi na tunataka CDF itu.
Mara nyingi mnaacha mambo ya walemavu nje. Read throughout the whole policy. You are not talking about PWDs. And our issues are cross-cutting. Usituachie county because we need accessibility katika zile buildings zinatengenezwa na CDF.
Now, from matters NGCDF to curbing graft in the transport sector, where the Matatu Owners Association, together with other stakeholders, among them NTSA, SACCO leaders and the Kenya Police Service, among others, have come together with the aim of curbing corruption in the Matatu sector. Now, the partnership between various stakeholders is expected to formulate rules and regulations that will govern the operations of the matatu workers in order to curb bribery and corruption. The regulations will also help in curbing police harassment and intimidation.
Naitwa Christopher Muya, mimi ndio coordinator Matatu Association Kenya. Leo hii tuko hapa kujumuika pamoja na watu wa kaunti ya Nairobi. Tumekuwa tukizunguka nchi nzima kueneza mambo ya usalama barabarani na kueleza members wetu vile tunafaa kufanya biashara na mahali mambo ya haendi vizuri, tujadiliane pamoja. Ndio maana tumealika serikali tukiwa na NTSA, polisi, county government ya Nairobi, wa shirika la kupambana na ufisadi nchini. Wote tuko hapa tuzungumzie mashida yote yale tuko nayo.
Running to end corruption, we are bringing all multi-agencies together. We talk to one another so that from there we educate our membership. Police are supposed to be educated. Going forward, we don't need to be going to the roads to arrest the policemen. Anti-corruption arrested them. We want them to be educated. So going forward, we are Kenyans, and we believe working as a team, we are going to achieve.
Now, the government will provide employment to youth who have recovered from drug or alcohol addiction in a bid to address the unemployment challenges. Speaking while addressing the youth in Kiandoto slums, Thika in Kiambu County, Second Lady Pastor Dorcas Rigathi noted that drug abuse and alcohol in the country posed a big challenge and a threat to the boy child, thus a need for a permanent solution. However, she noted that plans were underway to ensure those reformed get job placements both locally and internationally.
Kwa hivyo ninawahimiza watoto wangu wale wako mbali na wale wako hapa, wale wamekata kauli kubadilika. Tutaanza kuangalia, nimeambiwa kuna village polytechnic hapa Athena na ina watoto, tutakuja hapo na mutaenda hapo. For a better tomorrow, we must lay stronger emphasis on the boy child, who is for a long time have been neglected. We must advocate for a strong boy child with the same vigor we have done for a strong girl child.
I want to put a stern warning that wale watu wanatuuzia madawa ya kulevya, pombe, hizo vitu mbaya, I want these people to be brought to book. I want these people harassed and convicted.
Meanwhile, the Wildlife Conservation Professionals Association has welcomed the decree by the head of state on the sharing of revenue generated from game parks, allowing host counties to get 50% of revenue. They have urged the government to put in place a well-structured financial management system to oversee the administration of the revenue. They say the communities that have established conservancies where wildlife is thriving will be the biggest beneficiaries of the revenue, and that the revenue will not only end up at the county government treasuries but will be further devolved to the local communities who are living with wildlife and bear the cost of conservation daily. Now, the professionals have called for the establishment of a revenue sharing mechanism to address human-wildlife conflict management, fire control, poaching, opening up of wildlife corridors, and suspension of land subdivisions near the protected areas where wildlife thrive.
Kenya Wildlife Service has been struggling in wildlife management across the country. KWS is overstretched due to lack of finance already. Therefore, it is understood that there are only 6 national parks and reserves which are generating enough revenue to run operation and management of wildlife across the country. The 50% revenue sharing further decreases this financial capability. We therefore recommend that the government should allocate adequate financial support to Kenya Wildlife Service operations, and including rehabilitation of some of the parks which are referred to as paper parks. The 50% revenue should also be distributed to the community conservancies. which are now participating in wildlife conservation. The revenue sharing mechanism also be extended to all the other conservation areas across the country. We are recommending that it is not only saying that we are going to share the revenue, but we need to go in detail and structure how that money is going to be shared and where will it go, how is it going to be utilized, and transparent institutions be established to oversee the utilization. It should not be just say that this is a devolved resource and then this is another devolved corruption. That's what is going to affect. And then we would have lost the revenue, we are going to lose this precious wildlife.
Now, from the sharing of game park revenue to boosting education in Isiolo, where students in Isiolo County have been urged to utilize resources at the Isiolo Town Library after the center received more book donations from donors. Now, speaking in Isiolo Town during the issuance of grants and bursary checks to women groups and college students respectively, Isiolo County Woman Representative Mumina Bonaya urged parents to encourage their children to read instead of spending time idling in homes and watching television. Now, the donors issued a consignment of books worth 1.2 million shillings. Parents in the area now say local schools cannot afford books in the current economic times, and such a donation will go a long way in helping the learners.
Space ikiongezwa, like itarudisio watu kukaa nje, na pia itasaidia watu wengi sana kusoma, na unajua at home it is very difficult to some. For me personally, nyumbani si haraka nisome. Hadi nikisoma environment is not conducive, that's why huwa nakuja huko. Okay, about books, sana sana za primary ziko nyingi ya kurevise, alafu za high schoolers ndo kuna challenges hapo hivyo. Lakini za university pia ziko nyingi. Ni labda tu za high schools kama KMF hivi, Med Familia.
Pesa ambayo inaenda kwa bursary. Unajua wakati tunapiga kelele, pia linganisha na pesa ile mama anafaa kupeana. Kelele na pesa itoshane, sawa? Ama nimesema vibaya? Kelele na pesa itoshane. Ile pesa inafaa kwenda kwa bursary ni 1,600. Isiolo North 1,600, Isiolo South 1,600. Hizi vitabu zinahitaji watu kusoma. Badala ya kukaa na mtoto kwa nyumba akiangalia TV the whole day, akicheza na simu mchana mzima, wakitukanana hapo kwa TikTok na kwa WhatsApp, ambia huyo mtoto wako mshike mkono mpeleke library asome.
And staying in Isiolo, and the process of community land registration in the county, which had stalled for years due to disagreements among elders of various communities on the contentious issues such as name and units of registration, is now set to move on smoothly. This follows a breakthrough where elders from the respective communities agreed to settle on the sub-county level as the unit of registration. Now, following a meeting convened courtesy of the Merti Integrated Development Program and Action Aid, elders from Borana, Gabra, Sakuye, Somali, Turkana, Samburu and Ameru communities, who are the predominant occupants of Isiolo County, resolved to have their community land registered as Merti Sub-County Community Land, Gabratula Sub-County Community Land and Isiolo Sub-County Community Land, in a move that broke the deadlock, with the process now expected to be completed before the end of this year. The issuance of the community land title deeds will enable the people of Isiolo to protect and plan properly on how to utilize their land and other available resources.
Community land registration ilichelewa kwa muda mrefu tangu inventory ilipelekwa na county government iliyopita, ikasimama ikashinda kusonga mbele kwa sababu sisi tunazozana juu yake. Mbeleni kulikuwa na jina ambayo ilikuwa inaitwa Waso Borana. Kabila hii yote ambayo leo tunakutana wali object hiyo jina. Sisi kama Borana tukaregesha mabega yetu chini, tukasema lazima tukubaliane na hawa, tukaondoa hiyo jina. Basi kama shida yetu ni jina tuliondoa, tukabaki tukiwa watu moja, tukasema ni sub-county ya Merti, sub-county ya Garbatula na sub-county ya Isiolo.
Community land registration iendelee ili tuweze kuokoa mipaka zetu ambayo tunavamiwa. Until the last minute tutaipigania, ardhi yetu itakuwa registered, na very soon sehemu za urban zote tunauliza viongozi yetu, tunauliza governor tuweze kupewa title deed as quick as possible, meanwhile community land registration ikiendelea.
Community land register ikikuwa registered, kila mtu atakuwa na own, na community wa hapo watajua na jirani yako ni nani, na pia hakuna mtu kutoka nje anaweza ingia katika hiyo ardhi kwa sababu sisi wenyewe tunajuana katika hiyo kijiji.
We are fast tracking now this process with this new regime of the county government. There is a lot of political goodwill with this current government, and also Council of Elders, they are doing a lot in, as far as community mobilization and sensitization is concerned.
Now, moving on from land registration in Isiolo to putting cabinet secretaries up to task. Now, Kenya Kwanza members of parliament have put on notice non-performing cabinet secretaries, warning the National Assembly will not entertain CSs who set up President William Ruto to fail in his plan to deliver promises in the Kenya Kwanza manifesto. The ruling party MPs, Dagoretti South Member of Parliament John Kiarie and Embu Woman Representative Njoki Njeru warning came on a week where Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba came under fire from MPs for mismanaging his docket. A section of President Ruto's cabinet secretaries have come under fire from MPs, among them Moses Kuria and Labour CS Florence Bore, who have faced questions in their respective dockets. The MPs also weighed in on the ongoing bipartisan talks at the Bomas of Kenya.
Waziri yoyote ambaye atapatikana na tetesi za ufisadi ataubeba msalaba wake, na wa kwanza kumweka kwenye msalaba watakuwa ni wajumbe wa Kenya Kwanza. Hatutasubiri ati kwamba wajumbe wa upinzani ndio watakuwa wanaelekeza kidole kwa mawaziri wazembe ama wa mawaziri wafisadi. Ya pili ni kwenye utendakazi. Hawa wajumbe wa Kenya Kwanza wamechaguliwa mashinani kama wawakilishi wa wananchi kutoka kule mashinani, na watafanya kazi yao ya oversight bila kujali kama ule waziri ni wa Kenya Kwanza ama ni wa njia nyingine.
Cabinet Secretary, waziri ambaye hawezi kufanya kazi vizuri aletwe katika National Assembly na tumuulize maswali, na akilemewa na kazi anakanyanga nyumbani mapema, kwa sababu lazima wale mawaziri ambao wamepewa kazi na serikali tukufu ya Rais Ruto wasimwaipishe katika kazi yao. Wao hawakutafuta kura, wamepewa kazi mapema, wafanye kazi. Kama wafanyi, shauri ni yao.
Elsewhere, residents of Kaptien area in Koinin constituency, Bomet County, have held protests following the release of a suspect accused of defiling an 11-year-old child. The 45-year-old man was released on bond, and residents are now accusing the area chief for failing to do his work. They want justice for the defiled girl, adding that leaders should tighten their belts and protect children from sexual predators.
Tulisikia hii maneno kwa ujungu sana kama vijana. Mtu anarepu mtoto mdogo wa miaka 10 na mtu ni wa 45 years. Haki iko wapi?
Nikakuja kwa polisi. Sasa nikapeana hiyo mabarua, lakini hakuna hatua yenye amechukua. Eti alisema ameshika hiyo mtu but ameweka pon ya polisi ndio atoke.
Kwa kusema ukweli, yeye alishikwa na polisi. Vile OCS alituambia akishikwa atafanywa mashtaka between 24 hours. Tumengojea hiyo 24 hours, vile tulisikia alishikwa, lakini hakupelekwa mahakamani.
Juzi mtu huyu akaenda akajipeana kwa police station. Venye alijipeana tukashtukia jana hata 24 hours hajaisha ati mtu ameachiliwa. Mtu ameachiliwa kwa free bond. Free bond aje with child development. Hatuwezi kubali.
Well, may their plight fall to listening ears. But moving on, varsity students have been urged to choose their courses wisely, even as first years are set to report for admissions in universities across the country. James Moria, the Chancellor Machakos University, also called on graduates to rethink on entrepreneurship and how to monetize their skills for both the local and global markets. Moria noted that Kenya is producing 800,000 youths into the job market each year, out of which 100,000 jobs are available. The Chancellor added that the transmission mechanisms has been through formal employment, but there are no formal jobs. Thus, the idea of training the youth into entrepreneurship and giving them entrepreneurship opportunities where they can be able to export their ideas.
What is very, very key is how to partner with the university, so that it's not just a learning platform, but it should be an entrepreneurship platform that will transform and change the economies by adopting and changing the mindsets of our youths, so that they, after graduation, they need to be employers, not employees. And the Chamber is taking this space to really liaise and form partnership with the universities. One of them is Machakos Universities, so that we'll be able to inculcate entrepreneurship culture among our youths by doing supporting them through apprenticeship support program, which we have started with also other counties. We also want to escalate this with the county governments, so that they can be able to support them.
And if you look at Europe generally, they have an aged community, and we have a young, robust, enterprising community of youth that are well trained. And that is a service that we can export to the rest of the world, to be able to say, here we are, your community is aging, we have a young